It's got a soul, this hero farm. It falls asleep inside my arms. We work the fields under the stars. No love is here at Gold Shop Farms. A city life, yeah, had its charms. But we would dream of the fields under the stars. I fall asleep inside its arms. The love is here.
Hey, Kels! Come on, Kels! Hey, Kels! Fresh grass, come on!
The love is here at Gold Shop Farms.
What is going on, everybody? Happy New Year. I am super excited to be here with everybody, hanging out here tonight. This, as always, is our farm meeting. So this happens the first Wednesday of every month, where I try to get together with you guys and hang out, take your questions, give you some updates on what's going on with the farm and things that I'm typically not getting into, like in videos, and like really just dive deep and hang out and really just give you guys a whole bunch of updates. And so, what's going on, everybody? I'm just seeing the chat all line up here. I will admit I've got like a slightly different camera setup than I usually have, and so if you guys have any feedback or if anything seems weird, just let me know. Little barn cat is hanging out with me. She was just in her chair. She just jumped down. I've got some announcements to make about some new things coming, which I think you're going to be excited about. There's also an event that I'm going to be sharing and talking about. We're actually having an event here in Vermont that you guys are all invited to if you want to come out. And so, yeah, we'll get into it. And if you have questions, I'm not going to answer your question just yet, Ramen Noodle, but I will get to it. But just like you see Ramen Noodle doing here, if you put your question in all caps, it makes it easier for me to see and flag. And so I will come back to your question in a couple minutes here. And yeah, this is going to just be fun. And I'm seeing a lot of folks already queuing in there. What's going on, Julie? Good to see you. Hey, Lynette, what's going on? Good to see you. Maya, Texas Roast, what's going on, buddy? Oh, wow, this is so much fun. I really always enjoy just hanging out with you guys. What's going on, Nick? And just kind of, I don't know, this is just like way more chill. So I'm looking forward to it. And I don't know, I guess, should I start with the big news? Or maybe I'll wait on the big news. I don't know. Lynette, you know what the big news is. Don't give it away. And also, please don't put any links in the chat when I talk about this, and I'll explain why. But there is some big news that I do want to share that I think a lot of you guys are going to be excited about, because I know when I put the video out last week talking about how I'm going to be cutting back to only 2 long farm videos a week for this year, a lot of folks were bummed by it. But there's actually a very good reason why I'm doing it. And let's see if anybody else can guess what it is in the chat. And if you guess, I'll start talking about it. But yeah, until then, let me dive into some of those questions. Camera's looking good, looks sharper than usual. That's good. That's a really good sign, Gemini. Okay, that's great. What app do you use when walking your property line? So I use an app called Onyx. So it's a hunting app, actually, is really what it's for. And what's really cool about it is it's an app that takes basically Google Maps data along with the data from like the various towns in terms of deed and property lines, and it like overlays the two things together, and then you can actually note and annotate on your map. And so within the app, it can show you property borders within, I don't know, probably about 10 feet or so, and it's awesome. And so yeah, it's Onyx, O-N, and then just the letter X, Onyx. You can find it like on all the app stores. All right. Lil Barn Cat, for some reason, I don't know if you quite see it, it's because it's a little bit dark in here, but she's like scratching at my cabinet. What's the matter, Lil? So Douglas, medical marijuana on my farm. I don't think I would ever do that. And there's a couple of reasons why. And it's not that I'm opposed to it at all. It's the reasons I wouldn't do it is it's highly regulated, and it's actually kind of complicated to get into that business. And so, yeah, like the number one reason why I wouldn't necessarily get into it is just it's a lot of paperwork and stuff, which has never been my strong suit. And so I think that's one dimension of it. I think the other one is commercially, it's really hard to make a go of it unless you really know what you're doing. And I really don't know what I'm doing when it comes to that stuff. And then I think actually the third thing is, and this is actually YouTube related, I would probably not be able to monetize videos that feature that in the video because, technically in some states it's illegal. I mean, it's like all legal here in Vermont, but it's not federally legal. And so like it would create some problems for me with YouTube. And so I highly doubt I would ever go down that route. So yeah. So there you have it. All right, now let's come back to Ramen Noodle's question because this is a good one. So Ramen Noodle is asking, what changed my mind about sheep? And if you guys are wondering what Ramen Noodle, I don't know if it's he or she, is asking about, really what it comes down to is this. So, I talked in a previous video last year about maybe adding sheep to the farm this coming year. But as I've thought more about it and really tried to consider like what's the right thing for us and the farm and our farm plans, I really came to the conclusion that it probably doesn't make a ton of sense to try to like add yet another animal when I still have like a lot of room to grow with the cattle. And so what I'm going to be doing this year is really focusing in on growing my cattle herd and getting better with my cattle and really like intensifying some of the things I do for managing them, as well as changing their setup for the winter. I'll be like the way I'm keeping them right now, like in the barns, it'll be different for next year. And so a lot of that work's going to happen over the course of the summer. And so that was one dimension of it. The other thing is, we really decided we wanted to raise pigs again. Allison absolutely loves the pigs. I don't mind the pigs as far as animals go. I mean, I don't like them nearly as much as the cattle. I don't like them nearly as much as like the geese, but they're pretty easy to take care of, and I don't dislike them. And I think on top of that, the thing with the pigs is, as we're thinking about the farm business, it's like the one that makes the most sense. And pretty soon I'm actually going to be taking reservations for folks who want to buy pork from us. And so the way it'll work is you'll basically put in your reservation, you put down a deposit, and then when it comes time to pick it up, you come up to the farm, you can hang out, I'll give you a little tour and like answer questions, and really you can take pictures with Toby Dog, like kind of all that stuff. And so, like if anybody's ever come up here to buy a goose from us, it'd be kind of like a similar experience. And so, that would be the way we do it. And so it just made more sense as we were thinking about things for what's the right thing for 2024. And so that's not to say I will never, ever raise sheep. I actually still think that there's a pretty decent odds at some point that I experiment with it. It was just that basically this year, it's not the right thing to do. Okay. What other questions we got going here? All right. And yeah, it looks like my internet's not great tonight, guys, so I apologize. Hey, Sarah, what's going on? Yes, big news. There's big news. So yeah. So Julie, I have considered raising Muscovy. I think the thing that has kept me away is just I've always been kind of committed to mallard breeds, and I don't really want to change up my flock. I don't know, maybe that I think I'd actually be more likely to soon add some Muscovies to the flock than I would to sheep to the farm. So for what it's worth, it's just I think it's a combination of opportunity coupled with like I already have a setup going with the geese, and so I think that's what it comes down to. Is it supposed to be so dark on the back? You know what it is, Martin? It's like, and I can try to futz around with it, but like I've got the lighting so good up here on me that it makes the background look darker. Hold on. All right, Martin, we're gonna have some fun for you here. Here, we're gonna brighten it up in here because Martin feels like it's too dark. All right, so I'm gonna do that as one way to change it. That helped a little bit. And now, hang on, I got to do the second thing. Yeah, I've got all my lights controlled by my phone nowadays, which is kind of weird. Like, I would never thought that would be the way the world works, but here we are. Brightness there. And then, how about this one? Is that a little bit better? I think that's a little bit brighter. Yeah, it looks a little bit brighter. It's still gonna be a little bit dark just because it's so much brighter up here. Here, I'm really going the extra mile for Martin. So adjusting that exposure. Yeah, guys, this is the weird stuff that I do when I'm like trying to get set up for one of these things. All right, we're gonna brighten it up just a little bit more. We're doing this for Martin. There you go, Martin. You can actually even see I've got like some stuffed animals on the couch because I was shooting a video yesterday. I've actually been shooting a lot in here, which actually relates to the big announcement, which I will be talking about in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. Hey, what's going on, Suzanne? No, unfortunately, we have never found Molly, and she's gone, and it really breaks my heart. Still bums me out to this day. But yes, we have not found Molly Murder Mittens. There will definitely be baby calves, or I shouldn't say definitely. I see high probability. At least I know Ariel is pregnant. There's no doubt in my mind. Annabelle also, I'm very certain is pregnant. I'm pretty sure that Anne and Anna Green Gables and Audrey are also pregnant, but I'm not as certain as the other three. And then when it comes to Amanda Hug and Kiss, I'm actually not sure. She seems like, I don't know. She just doesn't seem like she's filling out. Of course, she still has a calf who's not really nursing off of her, but yeah. Big news, Texas Roast. And honestly, this is the first time I'm going to talk about this one publicly here tonight. And so I think you guys are going to be excited about that. What's going on, Alex Cheshire? Well, I really appreciate that. No, I did not get my wife pregnant. We are not having children. Esther. Okay, so my finger is doing pretty good. I don't know if you can kind of see it on here. It's healed up, so it's no longer like weird black skin. The skin is very different. It's very hard, and when I touch it, I can't really feel it. There's nerve damage to it. But other than that, yeah, I don't know. You like my mug here, Laura. So my sister actually gave me this mug. She actually got Allison a pink one, and she got me this blue one, and they're both like little bears. And yeah, it's pretty adorable. Okay. So I don't expect to get any new cats anytime soon. I mean, I know, yeah, we're down a cat relative to Molly being gone, but at this point, I don't really want to add another cat. Maybe someday, but right now we are very happy with the 3 that we've got. Oh, all right. Saveron Shadow, got it. You guessed it. Saveron Shadow, got it. So yes, I just at the very end of the year, launched a brand new additional YouTube channel. So Goldshaw Farm is still going to be Goldshaw Farm. Nothing's changing with that. But there is going to be a new channel, and it's going to be where the podcast lives, and it's going to be where weird sort of different videos live. And I'm going to pull up the page here in a second and show it to you so you guys can see it. I am not going to put any links in the chat though, because I've got a whole theory about how YouTube works. But if you just look for my name, just Morgan Gold, you'll actually be able to find it pretty easily. Yeah, I do have a new YouTube channel. I'm super excited about it too. And so I put out a couple of videos so far on it. I'll be putting out a lot of short videos. But then even more importantly, I'm going to be putting out some longer videos, and those longer videos are gonna be really kind of interesting and different. It's gonna be all the stuff that's not typically kind of for farm videos. And so, hang on a sec. I'm gonna share my screen here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Morgan Gold, there you go. So here you go. So this is my new YouTube channel. It's just called Morgan Gold. I only have 74 subscribers right now, so I wonder actually how far up it's going to get after tonight. But yeah, it's only 74. And I've got 3 long videos that I put out, but I've also been putting out shorts, and I'll probably still put out a short every single day. So there's going to be a lot of shorts. And then when the podcast comes back, it'll be living over here as well. So that is the big news. And so, oh wow, I'm already up to 82. That was quick. But yeah, if you guys check it out, give it a watch. Particularly this video I made here, which is about beavers and parachuting beavers specifically, and actually the role that they can play in helping fight forest fires. And I'm actually really proud of this video. And so if you get a chance, give it a watch. I think you're going to enjoy it. It's a little bit different. It's definitely a storytelling video. If you like my farm crimes videos, it's definitely more in the zip code of a farm crimes video than like a video of me doing chores. So if you like that sort of thing, you should definitely check it out. And yes, the podcast is going to be showing up there as well. And so you'll be able to find all of that. And so there you go. And yes, like Lynette's saying, and by the way, thank you, Lynette, as always, for being one of the moderators. Really, without moderators, we would not be able to do this, guys. And so thank you to Lynette. I don't know, see who else I see comes out too. All right. Drew is now asking, is the new book coming out soon? Well, Drew, the new book is not going to be coming out very soon. I would say if it comes out this year, it'll be very end of the year. I would actually say it's going to be much more likely that it comes out in early 2025. And the reason is this: I'm still writing it. I don't know, probably like 80% done, 75%, 80% done. I keep adding more stuff to it, so it keeps getting longer, even though I feel like I've been at like 76% for a long time. And so with all the work that it takes to actually get the video to like actually be published, or get the book to actually get published, I think it'll probably, if I had to guess, it's going to be early 2025. Oh, well, thank you. Esther, I was actually hoping to say that it was going to be available for this live stream. My guess is that I will have soap available probably on the next live stream. So if you tune in for the February live stream, I will say not guaranteed, but I'm most likely going to release the soap that night. That would probably be my plan. Okay, Michelle has a good question here, and then Michelle, don't feel bashful about it. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and honestly, I think getting comfortable with talking about this stuff is actually important. All right, so how do I answer this one? So there's a couple different ways. When it comes to the ducks, geese, and chickens that we, harvest, we basically have an annual cull that happens in the fall. It's not to say that it's the only time that it happens, but, typically when I'm, thinking about the year, it's like sometime in like late September, early October, we will cull all of our geese that we're going to sell for meat that year. Any like roosters that I'm trying to get rid of, I'll usually take out then. Any drakes that I'm trying to get rid of, I'll take out then as well. And so kind of like all that stuff will happen on that night or that day. And so, or usually it happens as 2 days, like back to back. And so that's typically how we're doing it. The way we do it, I mean, if you really want the graphic, is we actually decapitate and basically bleed them out. It's the quickest, least painful. It feels brutal, but it's actually the best, fastest. It's just whoop, like one quick like stroke, and that's it. And so honestly, in my opinion, that for a bird, that is the most humane way to do it. Short of having like a gigantic gas chamber, which we just don't have the scale to do, and to try to like round up all the birds and do something like that would just be really, really logistically difficult and actually more stressful for the animal. When it comes to the pigs, we actually butcher the pigs on a farm. Basically, and then you kind of do the rest from there. And then when it comes to the cattle, we actually load them up and we take them to a processing facility. And so that's typically how we're doing it. Texas Roast, I meant to have my act together and I didn't. I will be starting a new fundraiser for this year. So yeah, right tonight for this live stream, the charity of choice is Vermont Food Bank. There's going to be a different one. It's going to be actually, I don't want to ruin it, but I had some problems with the paperwork because YouTube has to like authorize nonprofits to be available for like the charity giving. And so I wasn't able to get that together tonight, but it'll be together by the next live stream. Always, Mary, always keeping that paperwork to a minimum, always. Okay, this is a good question, Marcia. So yeah, I wear like an Apple Watch, and so I do actually have pretty good like footstep data. I would say I'm typically walking about somewhere between like 10 and 15 miles a day in the summer months. In the winter months, it goes down dramatically. Like I think I'm probably walking like 5 or 6 miles a day. So, you know, like I exercise most mornings because of that in the winter months. So like, for example, we have a rowing machine downstairs and like a little home gym. And so I, you know, do like a daily workout kind of stuff. And so it changes significantly depending on the time of year. So, Caden, the next big build project that I'm going to have is actually I'm going to be building out the hatchery. And so inside the new barn, I'm going to be building a hatchery where I can hatch all my ducks and geese and chickens for next year. I keep saying next year. I mean, for this year. And so that's my next build project. It's going to be inside the barn. And Gene, I will start doing it probably when the hatchery is finished, but I'm going to estimate like probably April-ish because it's still, I don't want to do it too early because, you know, those baby birds are still very fragile and it can be very cold here. Maybe Cybertooth, but I don't want to jinx it. Hey, what's going on, Jack? Happy New Year, buddy. Will I be growing? No, I don't think I'm going to be growing any crops there. I'll just basically be pulling up all the bedding and like spent hay and like the manure that was there that I haven't already been pulling up, and I'll compost that, and then that will end up in the garden for next year. Hey, Lil. How's it going? Here, we're going to give Lil a treat, guys. You're vocal today. All right. Here, sweetie. All right, let me answer another question here. Boop, boop, Can you do a video about the battery? You know, Esther, I actually did that like years ago. Like I'm saying like 4 years ago. If you look for Goldshaw Farm Tesla Powerwall, I bet you that video will pop up. Hey, Kathy, what's going on? Good to see you. Happy New Year. Yes. I mean, and just to shortcut it for Sylvia. So if you don't want to go watch the video, like basically we have 2 Tesla Powerwalls in the basement of the house. And so the power runs into the house through those power walls. And so it almost works like a battery backup for your phone, like, you know, like a power block. And so it basically stores energy. And then if like we lose power, it continues supplying the house with all of its power. And so like, for example, like with our freezers, they won't go down because the power wall's there, and that stored energy is going to keep us going there. So yeah. I will probably never raise horses. That's one of those animals, much like goats, that I have very little interest in. And so I don't see that happening anytime soon. You know what, Ray Stray? I have them. I have it. I'm going to hang it in the barn. I just haven't gotten around to it. I don't know. I'll probably do that soon. Hey, what's going on, Highland? Yeah, oh, you have Gobi? I have the Philips Hue. That's what I've got. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Texas Roast. I am not the guy to be talking to about bee advice at all. I'm not the guy to be talking about most advice. I mean, trees and geese, I feel like I'm like most qualified for, and I still feel like I have a lot to learn there. Hey, what's going on there, Janet? Good to see you. Hey, just wanted to say your content soothes my anxiety. Hearing you talk mental health. Oh, well, I really appreciate that, Seabell, and thank you for sharing that. Lil's trying to crawl up on my lap. She thinks I have more treats. Here, let's see if we can get her up here. Come on, Lil. Come on. You can come up? I don't know. We'll see if she comes. Are you going to other... I'll be going to some other states this year. I do not think I'll be in Michigan. Hey, Lil. Look, here comes Lil. All right, Lil. You can have a couple more treats. I don't want... You have too many, though. No, the cats kind of come and go as they please. they would not be happy if they got locked up in the really cold nights. And we have not had a night like this yet so far this winter. When the temperature gets down below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, I will typically bring Pablo and Ginny inside the house, and they'll go stay in the basement for the night. And so I'll do that sometimes. But other than that, they kind of go as they choose. No, the new book is not going to be about Molly. The new book is actually going to be about Lil Barn Cat, who's right here on my lap. So a Molly book's probably a couple years away. Not to say that there probably will be one. No, there's no Toby Dog book or Toby Dog movie. Sorry, Paula. Yeah. Oh yeah, no. So Grace, nothing to announce there yet. All right. No, they have actually seemed a little bit more chill, and they spend a lot more time in the barn. Was what I've noticed. So I did notice a little bit of a change. Particularly Pablo. He seems a little less. I don't know. He and Molly used to get into it a lot. So yeah. That cow is just not coming. You got to just let it go. And I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, you just got to let it go. Are you only interested in feeder pigs, or are you considering breeder pigs? So this is a good question. So for right now, for this year, my plan will be to raise probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 6 feeder pigs. And so that's my plan. They would be basically piglets that are born on a different farm that I add to the farm, probably at about 8 weeks old or so. And then I would raise them up to maturity, and then that would be like what gets harvested. Maybe one day, like if I get really into raising pigs, maybe I'd start farrowing my own pigs, but it's a lot of work, and it's hard, and there's a lot of complications to it, and there's a big learning curve. And so I just don't feel like I'm ready for it yet. And also there's something about raising pigs in the winter that just seems like a nightmare to me. And so at least at this stage of the game, this like the pigs would be like a summertime activity. Is kind of where my head's at for right now. I mean, maybe that changes one day, but for right now, try Sevi on your finger. Okay. I'll check that out. Release your Sasquatch footage. It's my birthday today. Birthday shout out, please. My daughter and I watching. Well, happy birthday, Marciela or Marciela. I really hope you have a happy birthday. I'm glad to hear you're hanging out with your daughter, and so happy birthday. And I hope for many, many more. I did not change my farm name, nor do I plan on changing my farm name. Not a plan. When will you do another costume video with Allison? I don't know. I'll have to ask Allison if she's up for it. I don't know. We had fun doing it, so I could see her actually wanting to do another one. What's going on, Alex? Well, I appreciate you guys watching. I really appreciate it. What kind of work do you do? I don't have any other job. Basically these days, and I feel super, super lucky that work for me amounts to working on the farm, making videos, and writing books. Like that's what I do. And honestly, I feel insanely lucky that is sort of how things have played out for me. And I'm super, super grateful for that fact too. But if I were to win the lottery tomorrow, not a heck of a lot would change with my life. You'd probably see me get some fancier equipment and maybe build some more buildings. Those are probably the only differences you guys would see if I were to win the lottery. Like everything else, I'd still be making videos. I'd still be working on the farm. No doubt about it. Yeah, part of why. All right, so here's the thing. If you guys look for Morgan Gold and beavers, you should be able to find it. So, and I know that sounds funny, but like the last video I just put out has that. And so part of why I actually want you guys to go on YouTube and search for it is to help actually boost the rankings of it. There's actually a woman by the name of Morgan Gold who's a musician. She's actually very talented and she's a very nice person too. And so she's out there as well. Actually, here's a funny side thing, and I should follow up with her on this. I have a plan that like one day I want to have a Morgan Gold theme song and I want to have it performed by this woman, Morgan Gold, and I think it would just be hysterical. So yeah. So Jody, I actually thought about doing solar panels on the roof, but when I did kind of like the analysis as well as sort of like kind of the full investigation, I made the decision that it was actually more cost effective to join the solar co-op. So if you look at, here, you can actually kind of see it right here. So if you see where like the lines are, where the trees are, if you actually look like just a little bit further back, there's all those solar panels in my neighbor's field. That's actually what powers our farm. And so, yeah. Oh, well, this is the other announcement I have, Lindsay. Since you guessed it, you get the honor of being the one to tee it up. So the answer is kind of. There is the first book signing event. And so this one is going to be in Peacham, Vermont. We are going to be having a Toby Dog book signing on Saturday, January 27th at 11 a.m. at the Peacham Cafe. So the Peacham Cafe is this wonderful little cafe here in the center of our town. My neighbors run it. They're amazing people. They do wonderful baked goods. They do some great sandwiches. They sometimes are serving like eggs from our farm. And yeah, we're going to be hosting a book signing at the Peacham Cafe on January 27th. And so, Lindsay, you guessed right. There will probably be a few more other items that pop up, like other events. But for right now, this is the biggest one. But yes, Toby Dog of Goldshaw Farm book signing. I will even have copies available, including the hardcovers, which I know were a little bit tricky because they ran out of the last printing of them right before Christmas. But yes, they will be available. And so I'll be hanging out. I'll probably read a couple chapters live, take questions, sign books, take pictures, answer anything you want. Like I'll just be hanging out there for a couple hours and it should be a lot of fun. So yeah, 11 a.m. Saturday, January 27th. So yeah, there you go. Cybertooth asks, could you give us a summary of the plot? No spoilers. Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of a teaser, and I'm assuming you're asking about the Little Barn Cat book. So the story for the Little Barn Cat book is basically it's Lil's story. So sort of a little bit of her backstory and some of the events that led up to her getting hit by a car. And then kind of what happens to her from there. That's the big picture of the book, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Toby Dog returns, Pablo Barncat returns, Grody Otis returns, Jessica Coyote actually plays a pretty big role in this book. I don't want to get too much else out and spoil it, and also something might change, and so I don't want to ruin it either. It's funny, as I'm writing the book, I have a friend, and she's also working on some stuff. And so she and I like get together and meet and like talk about like what we're working on like once a week. And she's been reading the book to her kids. And it's actually been super motivating for me to have this audience like listening to it live as I like, hit a couple chapters each week. And like I get feedback on like what did her kids think kind of thing, which is I don't know, it's been super motivating. It's actually kept me going much faster than with the first book. And the one thing though that happened is I decided like based on where the story was going to change like a plot detail that happened earlier, and that totally messed with their heads, and so I got to be a little careful about giving too much away. So there you go. Yeah, just look for Morgan Gold beavers. I know that sounds hysterical and way dirtier than it's meant to be, but the first video I made on the new channel, or the first like big video I made on the new channel, is about using beavers to help fight forest fires. So yeah. Well, thank you there. You know what, Raymond? I didn't quit TikTok, but I've sort of stopped doing as much over there. And the reason is it's a couple fold. One, they've changed some things with the algorithm there that just are a little bit frustrating for me. And so like, it's not in my best interest to put a lot of effort into doing TikToks these days. I don't know how else to put it. And so there's that. And then I've also been just so focused on a few other new projects that like I just have deprioritized it. But I will still be doing stuff, and particularly as the weather gets nicer, I'll be out there doing more regular stuff. So stay tuned there. I will mostly be hatching my chicks this year. So the way I try to do it is with the chickens. I like every other year, I either hatch a lot or I buy a lot. And last year I bought a bunch from my friends over at Murray McMurray. This year, like this coming year, I actually want to take those chickens and hatch out their offspring and like just do like a big shuffling and mixing and matching of genetics and see what I get. And so that will be the plan for this coming year. Hey, what's going on, Danny? Good to see you. Happy New Year. So yeah, like I said, just search for Morgan Gold beavers, and like, and actually, honestly, guys, you guys going in there and searching for that helps with certain things, algorithmically speaking. Like, I don't want to give you a link just to let you like look for it. Is the book going to be the same as the last one? It's not going to be the same book. It's going to be the same characters, but it's like it's going to be like I mean, honestly, I'll just tell you this. I have kind of a vision of somewhere between 7 and 10 books that I write about the farm and the animals on the farm, and yeah, that will be what it ultimately is. And so it's part of the same series, but it'll be a totally different book. I mean, like, you know, Toby Dog was the main character of the first book. I'd say Lil is the main character of the second book. I mean, Toby's got a very significant role, so it's not like he's not there. But it's not as big a role. He's not the protagonist. Lil is the protagonist in this next book. All right, what other questions we got? Can we request which Piggle the soap came from? Unfortunately, Ramen Noodle, no. Like basically, so I've already gone through, when it comes to making soap, you know, the process is I get the fat back. So after we, you know, butchered the pigs, I got all the fat, and then I take all that fat over the span of a couple days and I basically render it down. And so what that is like heating up the fat and like turning it into an oil. Then I like filter that oil. And then that's what I cool it down into blocks, and then that's what I'm going to like remelt down when it's time to make the soap. And so I've processed all my lard. I have all the lard I need to make the soap. I just have to actually like clear a couple of days to just sit down and make the soap. And I've been kind of busy lately. And so, yeah, I just haven't done that. I mean, honestly, the new YouTube channel has actually kept me busy. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? I'm already at 300 subscribers. Holy smokes. Thank you, guys. And yeah, check it out. It'll be a lot of fun. There'll be another new video next week. The new video next week is going to be all about alpacas. Hey, Debbie, Happy New Year. Piper Lily. I know it's Debbie, but I just like saying Piper Lily. There's something about it. Oh, okay. All right. If you look, that's another good thing to search for. If you search for Morgan Gold Stories Told, because that's actually going to be the name of the podcast is Stories Told. So the Goldshaw Farm podcast, it like, you know, I did the last episode late last year, and it's going to be kind of rebranded as Stories Told. So yeah. Yes, Christopher, I would say that there is a high probability that we have some new cattle on the farm, and maybe even sooner rather than later. Oh, okay. All right. This is a good question from Kindness Matters. So Kindness Matters. I used to be a devoted user of Evernote. Like for years, I've like had most of my digital life stored up on Evernote, and I've loved it. But I don't know. I feel like in the last couple of years, they've sort of slacked off. They haven't kept up with like a lot of the updates and like improvements that have popped up in other places. And so I'm kind of experimenting a little bit, and I'm actually in like a couple of different places. I still have my Evernote, but then, you know, I've been using like Google more and more, like in terms of like Google Drive plus Sheets plus Docs and like a combination of that stuff. But I don't love that. I've actually just recently started experimenting with Notion, and at first I didn't like it, but I'm really starting to like it more and more. And yeah, so there you go. So I haven't completely resolved to it yet. So I'll give I'll give an update probably in the fall in terms of where I'm at with a lot of that stuff. I might do like another one, sort of like where you remember last year I did like how I kind of keep organized and kind of keep things together. I might do another one of those. So because a lot of people found that useful, so I might do it again. Captain Janeway looks pretty normal. Yeah, Captain Janeway is pretty normal. I mean, that is the reality of it all. She is one of our weird chickens, or she was one of our weird chickens. She's a Rhode Island red chicken who is really old. Like I think I've had her since 2020. So like the spring of 2020 is when she was born. And, she's just kind of weird. She runs away a lot and she'll hide a lot, which is how she was at first named Runaway Red. And then eventually she moved in with the weird chickens and I renamed her Captain Janeway, which is like both Runaway Red and Captain Janeway are just like one big Kate Mulgrew reference built into there. Because I'm a fan of hers. And, so she's just kind of weird and she ended up with the weird chickens. But with the weird chickens moving to their new home, she actually didn't follow along. And so you'll actually see this in tomorrow's video, but she's actually in the main coop with all the other chickens. Wow, Sin Squad's really going for some spoilers here. All right. So this isn't spoiling it. There's some flashbacks in the Little Barn Cat book to when she was a kitten with her brothers and sisters and mother. And those have been some of the most fun to write. So I've really enjoyed those. Honestly, Billy, I mean, it's number one, as you guys can see, even from the visual here on the screen, there's like no snow on the ground. This was actually taken a couple of days ago, like 2 or 3 days ago. At this point, other than some of like the really like shady areas and places where there were like big snowbanks falling off of like roofs, there's like no snow on the ground. This is another very unusual winter. And I know some people are gonna get mad if I talk about this too much, but like, I don't know. It's weird. It's not normal for Vermont winters in the Northeast Kingdom to be like this. But yeah, we don't have any snow. And so number one, it hasn't been cold. I mean, today it was like 38 degrees was the high. It was crazy. And so, typically what happens is the water will freeze a little bit overnight. The cattle actually are usually able to just like break right through it because it's such thin ice that they can always get a drink when they want. And there's enough of them that they're constantly going back to get more water and get more drink. And so that hasn't been an issue. But then usually in the morning, I'll come in with the shovel, smash some ice, and then it's just ready to go. And then I add fresh water on top of that. And when that fresh water gets added, that new water volume, like that really is what kind of helps keep everything like, level and good. And so, yeah, I don't have to do that. And then once a week, I go through and I dump all the water. I scrub all the waters with like a brush and hot water and maybe soap if it needs it. And just give like a big cleaning for it. And then, that's typically how I do it. And then I keep recirculating water and adding new water in every single day. Yeah, Chicago, 33 storm. Well, there you go. I don't know. I'm hoping we get a little bit of snow, honestly. Oh, I'm so happy to see that. Oh my gosh, I gotta ask them if they're gonna if it's okay if I include it in a video. But I saw this one video of a little boy opening a Christmas present, and he got the Toby Dog book and he was so excited. Like watching that video made my like month when I saw it the other day. Like it makes me so happy. I just love hearing that people are enjoying the book. Like this is what's motivating me as I'm writing this second book right now. It's so much fun to work on that. It's so much fun to like bring my animals to life for people, and then to hear that people are getting enjoyment out of it, and particularly kids are getting enjoyment out of it. That just makes me exceptionally happy. Thank you for the reminder, Drew. I know. So Drew knows enough here. So she's catching me like rubbing my face, and particularly because Lil was on my lap and I was playing with her, it like fires up my cat allergy a bit. So that's what's going on there. So kindness matters. I mean, like just to get more detailed here. And let me see if I can actually zoom out and get you a good hair. This is a pretty good visual right here. Okay. So if you're looking at this, like what the yard looks like right here, can I move myself over here? So if you look at it, right, like where the cattle are, like in the lower left hand part of the screen, like where you see me, like that area over there is like where the cattle are living right now. I have it split in like thirds, and so 1/3 of the area is for the bull and the steer, and then the other 2/3 are for all the females. What I think I'll probably do is still have like the male cattle in that side of the barn, like they would still be there next winter, but I'd probably move the majority of the herd to a different spot. I'll talk about it. I mean, just know that this is like still very much a work in progress. So do you guys see where like the trees start on the screen right here? And unfortunately, I can't like highlight or anything. I wish I could. Well, where those trees are, like, pretty much right here. Like, so starting right here, I'm actually thinking about building like a small or medium-sized barn. And barn's not the right word. It's more like a shelter. And basically it would be a shelter for the cattle just so that they can get out of the sleet and wind if they need to. And I'd basically make a new cattle yard back there. And so there would be 2 separate cattle yards that I'd have, would be my plan. And this yard that I'm thinking about here would actually have the spring water running into it. And so there'd be this like water drinker with constantly circulating water running from the spring. That water would then kind of overflow and go into the pond, and then that would go back down into the stream, is sort of my thinking of it. And so that is my plan, and I'm hoping to pull it off by the end of this year. That is what I'm thinking. Yeah, if you guys want to send stuff, Goldshaw Farm, P.O. Box 225, Peacham, Vermont, 05862. So, Jen, I did not write the song, and I don't have the tabs or sheet music, unfortunately. So, my friend Keith Pierce, who back when I was in college, he actually lived next door to me, and here we are 25 years later nearly, and he's still a good friend, and he actually came up to the farm a couple of years back and stayed, and he wrote that song just kind of feeling inspired by it, and I loved it so much that I decided to use it as like kind of the farm theme song, and to this day it still is. And so it is the great Keith Pierce. If you look for the band Mellow Bravo, that's actually his band. If you're looking for them on Spotify, Mellow Bravo. He's got a couple other bands too, but that's the one that pops to the top of my mind. Yeah, Ben and I keep trying to figure out a way to do something. And so, yeah, I'm going to say yes, I will at some point do that. And if Ben wants more goose eggs, I'd happily give him more goose eggs. I'll text him and ask him if he wants to. I mean, I know he had a little, like Morgan the goose was a little bit traumatic for him. But I don't know, maybe. Okay. I'm just... Any new weird chickens? There are no new weird chickens, but I want to hatch a bunch of weird chickens this year. And so that's another like to do and farm plan and activity. So yeah. They've gotten better, Gloria, but I shouldn't like touch my face, because if I do that, whenever I do that, like that is always how like my allergies, flare up, and so it gets better, but it doesn't heal. It's not like perfect, if that makes sense. Oh, thank you, Cody. I wish you the best of luck there. Yeah, Lil knows that I bring the treats for the staff meeting. Oh, she heard it again. She was napping. Now she's like, wait, is it food time again? Oh, thank you, Francine. Yeah, so Justine, I don't know if you saw the latest YouTube video, but yeah, I separated out the weird chickens, and so yeah, they're in their own space now. Oh, can I read the question? All right, I'll try to do a better job of reading the questions. DH, sorry. I'm just trying to go quick, and so like I assume people can read it, but you bring up a very good point just in terms of making this as accessible to everybody as possible. So thank you for that. Are you talking about children's books? Where do you sell them? Oh, well, I guess I should say this, and I don't know if Lynette or Jack or Oh, Kathy's here. If you guys want to drop a link to the Amazon page for the Goldshaw Farm book, if you guys want to get the new book, or relatively new book still, Toby Dog of Goldshaw Farm, it's available on Amazon. That's the easiest way to get it. And so you just look for Toby Dog of Goldshaw Farm. It should pop right up. And it's available in multiple formats. You can get paperback, you can get it in hardcover, you can get an audio version where I read the book to you guys, as well as I have like some really talented actors who did the voices of all the characters. And so like I'm the narrator, and then there's like all sorts of characters that pop up that are the different actors, and they're super, super talented. So yeah, here's the book right here. It's all on Amazon. I've got a 5-star rating here on Amazon. Goodreads is good as well, so check it out. I mean, I think you guys will enjoy it. And yeah, there will be a sequel that's in the works, and I'm gonna say like end of this year, early next is really what we'll say it is. All right, I'm jumping ahead, guys, because I know I'm pretty far behind on the questions. So yeah. Yeah, Drew knows how bad it's been around here. I mean, gosh, Pondview, that's like asking if I believe in Santa Claus. Let's see. Would you do a video where you see all the animals asleep? Like what happens after all ducks go to bed? I've actually kind of done a version of that video before, but you know what? I might actually do one of those this winter, because the summer months are a little bit different than the winter months, and particularly inside the hoop coop, like doing like a night surveillance video, that could actually be fun. So, and I'm just thinking out loud here as I look at your question here, KB. I think what I would do is I would set up a bunch of trail cameras, because they have the night vision in there, and just like gather interesting footage, because I don't want to like light it with and use like regular cameras. So I think that's how I would do it. So that would be a fun idea. So KB, I'm actually getting my little handy sticky pad, and I'm writing your idea down. Like a hoop coop at night video, I think is kind of how I'm thinking of it. The dogs, surprisingly, are actually up a lot during the night. Like that's, I would actually say it's fair to say that my dogs are nocturnal. They spend most of their day sleeping. Like they're up with me during chore time, but then most of the midday they're like out. They're zonked out. They're usually sleeping in their sheds or in a patch of sunshine. Usually that's usually where they're sleeping. Is the lack of snow affecting the farm at all? I mean, not really. I worry a little bit what it does to our water table. So if we don't have a big enough snowpack, I worry about that, what happens there. Like, we're off of well water, and so we do rely on that. So like if we're in drought conditions, but given the year that we've had in this past year, it's actually helped bring our water table up pretty well. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that answers your question, Nancy, but like, other than that, it's not like we like rely on it from a farm business perspective at all, or like it'll impact anything. It's a little disconcerting, and it's definitely ugly around here. And all right, here's actually where it really affects us. It's not so much no snow, but what it is like the warm temperatures. It makes it harder to keep the animals clean, because a lot of my system really relies on things being mostly frozen most of the time. And the fact that like most of our days are well above freezing every single day, and like we're not getting like a good hard ground freeze, it just makes it muddier and messier, and that's not really what I'd like to be working in. And so there you go. Last I heard, Just a Few Acres YouTube channels getting out of pigs has to do with costs and profits. I mean, I could see that. I mean, so I don't know if you guys know Pete over at Just a Few Acres, super talented guy, really, he's a good guy. I like him. And so he has a diversified farm operation. I know he does Dexter cattle. He does, I think, chickens for eggs, and he has been doing pigs. But I did not know this, Marjorie, that he's getting out of it. I could see that, because I mean, here's the thing when it comes to pigs. Like if you are like thinking about your cost of production, that feed, as that gets more expensive, I could see how it'd be really hard to make a good margin on it. And so I mean, it doesn't shock me. I mean, I think the only way I'm making pigs work, at least the small scale that I've done so far, and I shouldn't say making, like I'm going to try to make it work, is by finding some unique ways to reduce my overall cost of feeding for the pigs. And on top of it all, I'm pretty sure that Pete farrows his own pigs, or he did farrow his own pigs, and so you got to keep those animals in fed as well, and that becomes another drag on it. Versus like buying feeders becomes a little bit more affordable, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I actually, you now have made me curious, and I'll probably go and check it out and try to watch something soon about what he's got there. So, but thank you for that tip, Marjorie. Sarah says, I meant to have my act together. Morgan Gold at some point on every live stream. Yes, that is true, Sarah. You know me well. I'm not debuting it. Debuting it. I think I get a question about meat rabbits every single live stream as well, Sarah. Yeah, so it's a couple things why we don't do meat rabbits. I think number one, it's like Allison really doesn't like rabbit meat, and she would fall in love with the rabbits, and so it'd be hard to raise them on the farm and then butcher them. I think two, there's not a huge market for rabbit meat. I mean, I know a couple friends who've actually done rabbits in the past, and they got out of it just because in this area there just isn't a big market for it. And so honestly, those are the main reasons. And it's just, it's another thing, and it would be another skill to have to build out. And so, at this stage of the game, and I guess if you guys look for any sort of themes with the farm this year, the biggest thing I would say is I want to try to get better about just improving like the efficiency and quality of how I'm doing things, and just get better at the things I'm doing versus keep adding more things. And so adding rabbits would fall into that. That's a whole new thing kind of deal. As a new farmer, was it difficult to? Yeah, I honestly, it is one of the harder things to try to get into. Yeah, I mean, it's not the hardest part, honestly. I actually think the hardest part is actually trying to make some of the business things work, and some of the trade-offs and hard choices you have to make there. But it's definitely one of the harder things when you're starting out to like have to harvest your animals. That's hard, particularly like my first ducklings, which were the first animals I ever butchered on farm. Those were my first ducklings I ever owned. And they showed up on the farm, 2 days old, and, raised them up until, they were probably 12 weeks old or so when I butchered them, maybe 16 weeks. I don't even remember. Excuse me. And so when I raised them up, it was hard to like have to be the one to end their life. But I think what's made it easier over the years is this. For example, when it comes to like ducks, if you have too many male ducks, that's bad for your flock as a whole. And so it's a necessary action to maintain the health of the overall flock. And so oftentimes as a farmer, you have to make decisions for the flock or the herd as a whole versus one specific animal. And sometimes that means culling certain animals. Yeah, Allison works outside the farm. She is a nurse practitioner, and she works like in an emergency room at a hospital here in Vermont. Yes, that honestly, Gianna, that would be one of the, or I'm sorry, Glenna. I read your name wrong. I thought that was an I, not an L. So Glenna, if I won the lottery, one of the projects I would do would be to completely restore the old barn. No doubt of it. And I would turn it into like, all right, here's where we're getting really crazy. If I won the lottery, I would redo the old barn, and I would probably turn it into like a workspace and like production space for making farm products. That would be probably what I would do if I won the lottery. And like money was like no longer even like remotely considered part of the equation. That would be a visible difference that you guys would see for sure. So I know that I'm allergic to duck eggs, Mary Baker, because what would happen is every time I'd eat duck eggs, I'd get sick. Like I had food poisoning. I would just be bleh and bleh. And it always happened. And so one day I decided, all right, I'm not going to eat anything. I like skipped breakfast. And then at lunchtime, I had 2 scrambled eggs with just a little bit of olive oil. I didn't even want to use butter because I didn't want that to be a potential part of the issue. And after I ate that on an empty stomach, within about, I don't know, an hour to, I don't know, within an hour or two, I was in the bathroom. And so it just wasn't good. And yeah, I'm not like allergic to duck eggs. Like it's like anaphylactic shock. Like I'd like, stop breathing, like, certain people who are like allergic to like peanuts or something, but I am allergic to it in just like my body can't digest a certain protein within the egg. And so it like I said, it's like for about 18 to 24 hours after I eat duck eggs, I have food poisoning basically. And it sucks. And so I don't eat them. Yes. So Puzzle Cat, the weird chickens have made a permanent move to the brooder shed. And so, Marjorie or Mallory, I would probably add more weird chickens over the course of the summer, but not in the winter. Okay, Jennifer Griffiths found it when she put in Morgan Gold Stories Told. So if anybody's curious about that, and if you guys missed it and you're coming late to the live stream tonight, there is a new YouTube channel that I have. I was keeping this a secret because I wanted to start it up and get it all going. But yes, I have a new YouTube channel. It is called Stories Told. It's just Morgan Gold if you look for it. Wow, I'm almost up to 400 subscribers. I've only got a couple of videos out. There's like an introduction video, and there is a video about parachuting beavers, and there's a video that's just like me telling a couple of stories mixed in with some movie clips. It's just me kind of experimenting, because honestly, the whole purpose of this new YouTube channel is me just having some fun with it. And so I don't want to like put links in the chat for you, but like if you want to look for it, go for it, because like that activity actually helps get the channel going. Yeah, it's going to be kind of like the weird stuff. So like I said in a previous video, I'm cutting back to 2 long farm videos per week. And, as I'm doing that, what that will give me the ability to do is to like do a little bit more experimentation. The stuff that you see on this channel is going to be experimentation. The stuff that you see like on Goldshaw Farm is going to be, mostly me with the animals and doing chores and like just kind of updates around the farm and just almost exclusively focused on the farm. I think, over the course of last year, I was doing a little bit of a mix, right? Where it'd be some videos would be just like farm stuff, and other stuff would be like, me doing something kind of random and different. That won't be the case this year. Musical festival on the farm. Yeah, I don't know. Stargazing Gaming asks, is Allison doing another video with you soon? Some video ideas for cooking and baking video with you in her garden. So, I don't know. I mean, there's not a lot to do right now, because, we're kind of in the dormant season from a garden perspective. And honestly, I do most of the cooking in the house. So Allison would not want to do a cooking video. I'm pretty certain of that. Yeah. But I don't know. I think there are other situations where I could easily convince Alfred or Allison to do a video. And speaking of Alfred, this is why I got another question here from what happened to it? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Would the song come out to be shared? I don't think I technically have the rights to like put it on Spotify. So I hired a guy to make the song, and then I have the rights to use it in videos and stuff, but I don't think I have the right to like sell it. So yeah. Yes, at this point, our farm is 100% solar. That is where we get the energy for our farm. Oh, thank you, Katrina. I really appreciate you saying that. Yeah, that was a really hard video to produce. I got to admit, like it was really tough. I mean, I had to lean on like Valerie, who does a lot of my editing. I had to like really get help from her to do it, because it was just too hard for me to want to do that one. Honestly, I really struggled there. All right. Hold on. I'm switching beverages. I just had the last of my tea, and now we're going to the Worcester water. And tonight we've got my favorite flavor, which is orange vanilla. All right. Gene Brown says, congrats on the signing. That's outstanding. Yeah, in case you guys also missed this news, there's going to be a Toby Dog of Goldshaw Farm book signing, 11 a.m. Saturday, January 27th at the Peacham Cafe in Peacham, Vermont. I probably do have too many irons in the fire, Gene, but I kind of like it that way. You know, Allison actually said this to me the other day. She's like, you really do thrive on the chaos. And it's true. I'm having the most fun when I've got a lot going on and there's a lot of like kind of projects and activities going on. Like that's kind of when I'm having the most fun. For the next April Fool's Day, have the musician Morgan do the intro. Oh, that'd be kind of funny to have her like do a farm video. I mean, she's out. I think she's like in Chicago or somewhere like that. But that'd be funny though. Like that could be fun. I actually have an idea. I'm not going to say it, but this could be a fun. I don't know. I mean, I will admit, I feel like last year's April Fool's prank kind of backfired on me because there were so many people who didn't get that it was a joke, where they like thought that no, everything really was on a green screen and was all fake. Like, no, that was the fake part. But yeah, so I do think last year was like I sold it too well, so I might need to be careful with that one. Yeah, you know, Renee, since like we got into the kind of the winter off season with hunting, things have calmed down. But I don't know, it'll probably be like only a matter of time before the summer when things start up again. If you had to keep 2 of each livestock animals, who would it be? Ooh, wow. Game Farmer wants me to be Noah up in here. All right. This is a tough one. All right. So if I was only going to keep 2 chickens, I think I would keep Black Francis and Carmen, the chicken. Those would be my 2 chickens that I would keep. And then I would use them to repopulate the earth. If I was only going to keep 2 geese, it would be Bruce the Goose. And there's this one particular buff gander that Bruce is partial to so I think it would be the 2 of them that I would keep. If I was going to keep ducks, honestly, it might be jerk duck and generic duck. So my 2 original Cayuga ducks, I don't know. They're such good moms and such good ducks. Those would be the 2 that I'd go for. Of course, I wouldn't be able to keep them going. So I actually have this runner drake. His name's Homestar Runner. And so I guess maybe I'd probably go, I guess, generic duck and Homestar Runner would be the 2 that if I could keep 2, but I had to like repopulate them, that would be it. And then for cattle, it would be Macho Man would be the obvious choice. And I think I'd pick Ariel, the cow. And so those would be the 2 that I would keep there. So yeah. And then I would keep Toby Dog and Abby Dog, and I'd keep Pablo and Ginny, and then Lil, so she doesn't count because she's inside the house. So she'd still be here too. I know. All right. Other people are saying just enter stories told and it's the easier way to find it. Okay. All right. I think I'm kind of losing my voice, guys, but we're going to hit some couple of final questions here. All right. I'm jumping ahead to see what we got. What do we got for final questions? Let's see. Who was Ralph? Okay, so Ralph the Duck. You actually, I don't have the intro in the thing anymore. Ralph the Duck was the little duck, so he's a call duck. He's still here, and he's a really good duck. I really like having him. He's got some great energy. He fits in with the rest of the flock perfectly now, and so that's who Ralph the Duck is. He is our smallest duck. Would you do a review of the Volkswagen electric car? I mean, like, let me give you a quick one. And then I've done a short video. I've done like shorts, like YouTube shorts. Like if you look for Goldshaw Farm electric car, you probably will be able to find it. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's even better now that we have the faster charger inside the barn. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. So, and it's nice too, because it's got 4-wheel drive. And so, yeah. I don't know. That's probably a bad review, but that's why I'm not a car YouTuber. All right. We're getting there. All right. I'm jumping down. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to new comments. All right. 10 out of 10. Texas Roast. Oh, that's right. Texas Roast has Trogdor as his avatar. So, of course, he'd want one named Homestar Runner. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a runner duck. He's a runner duck. And so Homestar Runner felt like a very appropriate name. So, yeah. Yeah, it's always tough dealing with comments in general. I mean, the long videos are usually fine, but yeah, I agree with you, Ramen Noodle. The shorts are the worst. So, all right. So let me recap here as I get ready to sign off. But the big announcements for tonight. Number one, there I am. There's going to be a book signing. 11 a.m. Saturday, January 27th at the Peacham Cafe. In Peacham, Vermont. I will be signing books. Books will be available for sale. I'll be taking questions. Yeah, all that good stuff. And so that's that. I might, if you guys have a bookstore who you might want to have me come to, let me know. And if you have a way to introduce me to them, that will help me as well, because people are always a little sketched out when it's like, who's this guy trying to like sign books at our bookstore? But yeah. So that is announcement number one. Announcement number two is I have a new YouTube channel. This is not farm related. It's going to be weird, interesting, different types of videos and stories. You should definitely check it out. There'll be like a new short every day, new longer videos every week. And like, honestly, the topics of these videos are going to range pretty broadly, like from everything to like, can tech companies track you on the toilet, to the beaver drops, to the impact of beavers on ecosystems, to can elephants jump, to making dolphin cheese, to babies in cages. Like it's like a whole wild world over there. I can even tell stories like the time that my dad took me to see Halley's Comet. It's going to be a very different type of YouTube channel. And so I know some people are bummed that I'm only doing 2 videos a week on Goldshaw Farm this year. But the upside is there'll be 1 video a week here. So that's why. But yeah, with that, I want to say thank you to my moderators. Oh, hey, So and Tara, what's going on? And I see, yeah, wait, hold on a sec. I'm missing this one. RIP. I really wanted to know about the Abby issue. Ha ha ha. Oh, wait, I'm not getting that. I don't have any Abby issues now. These days, Abby's doing really good. I don't know. She's still mischief, but she's doing really well. She's like, yeah. But yeah. So anyway, sorry, I'm getting so distracted, and I really should sign off, or else I will lose my voice. But yeah. So thank you to my moderators. I see Lynette over at 13 Moons Over Mayhem, Kathy over at North Star Prep Setter, Katrina over at So and Tear, and Jack over the Mindful Homestead, and I think was that it? Was there anybody else? Danny over at Wicked Awesome Gardening. So yeah, go check them out. Give them some love, because if it wasn't for them, I would not be able to do these things. And so much appreciation, and really much appreciation to all of you guys too. Thank you for hanging out, and I really appreciate it. And I'll be back soon with another live stream, and there'll be a new video on Goldshaw Farm tomorrow. Remember, only Mondays and Thursdays now. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great night.